Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 10 of my Warframe Beginner's Guide for 2021. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Master Rank 10 test, setting up our Railjack and getting a little bit more endo to upgrade our mods, then doing the Saturn Proxima with our Railjack so then we can go and kill our Kuva Lich and get our magnetic Kuva Nukor. So first things first, the Master Rank 10 test is a disappearing platforms test where a bunch of enemies are going to be spawned on these platforms around the arena, and you're going to be given like disappearing platforms to stand on so you can kill all of the enemies. So what I recommend doing is picking up Mesa and then jumping onto one of the disappearing platforms, jumping up into the air, and then just using your Peacemaker ability to kill as many enemies as fast as possible. Make sure to stay on the disappearing platforms that are around the edge of the arena, so the one that's right in front of you, then go either to the left or right, and then forward and then forward again, left or right, and then just make sure that you go on all of the platforms that are around the edge of the arena before you go onto the one in the middle, because that's going to give you the most time. So if you use Mesa, it should be a pretty easy peasy test. But let's jump away from that and talk about our Railjack. So I'm actually on my main account right now, and that's because I want to show you guys sort of like your upgrade path whenever it comes to Railjack. So if you come to your clan's dojo and you go to the dry dock, you're going to be able to access this console right here. And this is basically research for your Railjack's different parts, right? So you can buy like different engines, different reactors, different weapons and stuff like that. What you guys want to be doing is you want to be buying the Sigma free parts for your Railjack. So the Sigma engines Mark III, the Sigma plating Mark III, the Sigma reactor Mark III, Sigma shield array Mark III, and they have a bunch of weapons here. The weapons really don't matter too much. You can pick up any weapons you want as long as it's a Mark III set of weapons. But definitely get the Titro Seeker Mark III. I'm pretty sure these are pretty decent, but whenever it comes to weapons, it is entirely up to you. Just pick up any Mark III weapons that you think sound cooler, look cooler, you jive with pretty much, right? So you want to pick up all that there stuff. It's going to take Railjack resources to craft. So you can see it takes like asterite, carbides, qubit diodes. So you want to be playing for your Railjack missions and just collecting as many resources as possible whenever you're playing these missions, so you can upgrade your Railjack a little bit more efficiently. Once you get your Sigma Mark III stuff, there isn't really too much to upgrade. You could get all the Sigma Mark III stuff and just call it a day, right? And never like look at these different Railjack parts again. There are like different and better Railjack things that you can get simply by playing, but they have pretty low drop chance. So for example, this Vita reactor is better than the Sigma Mark III reactor, but it's pretty hard to come by. It's just going to come down to how much you play Railjack, and if you get lucky enough to actually get the Vita reactor, which has the stats that you want, right? Because I'm not too sure if they've changed this, but it used to have like different stats, right? So you could get a Vita reactor which wasn't so great, and you could get one that was really good, like had max stats, that type of thing. So again, not too sure if that's still a thing, but that used to be the case whenever it comes to Railjack. So just go ahead, throw in all the Sigma Mark III stuff that you've got, and that is pretty much all you got to do there. And then we have the plexus here, right? So in the last episode, or the episode before that, I told you guys to start doing arbitrations, and in arbitrations you can get endo as a reward. You're getting like 1,500 endo. You want to be doing a lot of arbitrations to farm up a lot of endo to be upgrading not only the Railjack mods that you're going to be collecting, but also the galvanized mods that you're going to be getting from arbitrations as well. So you're going to need a lot of endo. Make sure to do your sorties, make sure to do your arbitrations, make sure to do all of your bounties on all of the open worlds and stuff like that. And that is going to be your main source of endo to upgrade all of the mods that we've got, right? So like I said, this is my main account. I don't even have my Railjack fully upgraded yet, and I could do pretty much every single Railjack mission that there is. So this is the mods that I've got equipped right now. You want to be focusing on like defense and speed and stuff like that, and then also like damage for your turrets and stuff like that, right? So if you maybe try to get a build that looks a little bit like this, if you don't have to copy it one-to-one, just go for something that looks kind of like this. You might have noticed that you have different tabs up here. So you have integrated, battle, and tactical. These are basically like your abilities, the battle mods. So I have munitions, vortex, tether, and seeker volley. This lets me do Railjack missions really fast if I just like spam these free abilities. Your Railjack ability usage is tied to the energy that you have in your Warframe. So if you're not able to use your abilities and you have these mods equipped, it's because you don't have any energy in your Warframe as you're piloting your Railjack. And then we have these tactical mods as well, which I don't know what they do. I never really use them. They're just kind of passive. So this one is reduce forge cooldown by 100. Well, actually, no, it's not a passive. I'm pretty sure you press L and then you're able to activate the ability for this. I never use these because all of the ships die so fast whenever I'm playing Railjack. Just not really worth it for me to use. So you can throw pretty much anything on here. The tactical is just something that I don't use much. So that is pretty much that. These free mods, in my opinion, are the most important because these allow you to just like shoot these abilities out and everything dies. It's really insane. And then just use these for like speed, defense, and damage. That's pretty much it. Moving on though, we have our intrinsics. Again, I'm not fully maxed out in my intrinsics on my main account, and that is simply because every single time you upgrade your intrinsics, the amount needed to go to the next level is going to double, right? So if I invest 256 to get to rank 9, at rank 9, I'm going to need 512. And intrinsics take a while to farm. You might want to consider picking up a affinity booster, but you should be able to get like a decent amount of intrinsics or intrinsics just by playing anyway. So just casually play through and then upgrade your intrinsics equally is what my best advice would be. If you want to make use of the crew members, you need to be upgrading your command intrinsics. So if we go over to the crew member tab here, you can see that these are the free crew members that I picked up from Ticker, which I mentioned in the last episode. So what you can do is you can click here and then you can press train. And you can like upgrade specific stats, so piloting, gunnery, repairing, combat, and endurance. So endurance is just their health and stuff like that. And then you can assign a rule based on, you know, what you've upgraded, right? So this here guy right here, arbiter guy, he is proficient at the gunnery. So I'm gonna have the gunnery rule on him, right? That's just how it is, you know. And then the piloting rule, this one's good at piloting, this one's good at repairing, and that's how I've got my crew members set up. And that basically allows me to just jump out and you know, fly into cruise ships with my Archwing and, you know, get Railjack missions done really fast that way. And that is pretty much it, right? The other thing you might want to consider whenever it comes to your Railjack, if we pause the game here and go to my arsenal, I asked you guys to pick up the Amisha in one of the episodes. The Amisha is going to make flying around in your Archwing in Railjack really easy. Now, this is a maxed out build actually, I guess. Actually, no, it's not because here isn't fully upgraded. But if you get a build that looks somewhat like this and just use like your 1, 2, 3, 4 whenever you get into your Amisha in a Railjack mission, or just whatever you're using your Railjack in general, you won't die in your Railjack. That's pretty much it. Like, Amisha is just really good for keeping you alive while you're Archwing. That is pretty much it. So that is more or less the only reason that I recommend that picking up the Amisha, just for the Archwing missions, so you can fly around in them and then enter into those cruise ships with your Amisha without getting killed. You know, that is more or less it. So all you want to do is play through your Railjack missions, get up to the Saturn Proxima. The Saturn Proxima is what we need to do. Complete all of the missions there, and then what you can do is you can go and you know, finish off your Lich by finding out the free mods that we need to equip to our Parazon to make him flee to the Saturn Proxima, so then we can kill him there. So once you've got to the Saturn Proxima, got rank 5 with any of your intrinsics, and found out the free mods that you need to have equipped to kill your Lich, you can go ahead and kill him. It's a pretty easy process. Just complete the Railjack portion of the mission, then board his ship and kill him by using Banshee's sonar to mark a weak spot on him. Shoot that until he goes down, then vanquish him with your Parazon. Once you return to your ship, you're going to have your Kuva Nukor delivered to you via your inbox, and you can claim it in your foundry, implying you've got enough weapon slots. Now, here's the interesting thing with Kuva and Tenet weapons. Whenever you form them, they're still going to go down to rank 0, but you're actually going to be able to gain another 2 levels on them to max out. So the first time that you form your Kuva Nukor, you can level it to level 32 and gain extra mastery from it. You can do this all the way up to level 40, and you can actually get an extra 10 capacity, which is really nice if you're lacking in Auric and Catalyst, for example. So next we want to get ourselves either a Kuva Brahma or a Kuva Zar. Either of these weapons are extremely strong, but this time we want to make sure that we get ourselves a Toxin version of either of these weapons. To get Toxin on your next Kuva weapon, you want to stab your Kuva Larvaline using any of the frames that I've got displayed on screen now. I'd recommend using Saren for this, as you should have already got her if you watched the previous episodes of this guide. Alright, so now that you've got your Kuva Nukor, we need to figure out what do we actually do with it. So the Kuva Nukor isn't actually used for damage, it's used for what we call priming, right? Now, priming works in conjunction with the melee mod called Condition Overload. So just to show you guys what that is again, Condition Overload is a melee mod which gives you 80% bonus damage for every single different status effect which is affecting the enemy that you're trying to melee, right? So if we turn our attention back to the Kuva Nukor, you'll see that on my build, I have 4 different elements. I have Viral, Magnetic, Radiation, and Heat. Now, the reason we're able to have so many different elements is because the Nukor on its own is a radiation weapon. And because of the Kuva Lich system, we were able to get one that has a magnetic bonus, right? So it just has a little bit of magnetic damage on there. And then we can throw on a Viral and Heat whenever we're actually modding our Kuva Nukor, right? So the main element that we want to be modding for whenever it comes to the Kuva Nukor is Viral. And the reason that we want to be focusing on Viral is because the Viral status effect, so whenever you see the little symbol that appears below the enemy's health bar whenever you're shooting at an enemy, and it's the Viral damage symbol, that is a Viral status effect. And what that basically does is it increases the amount of damage that we are dealing directly to the enemy's health with things like slash procs, right? And the majority of melee weapons in the game have mainly slash damage, right? Which means they're going to proc mainly slash proc. So basically, whichever damage type on your weapon is the highest value, that is the one that is going to proc the most whenever you're shooting at an enemy, right? Your status chance is just a number which determines how often your weapon deals out status effects, and then like which ones are prioritized is based on the amount of damage that these different status effects or damage types deal, right? So what we want to do is we want to invest into Viral. Viral is made by combining cold and toxins, so we have Frostbite and Pistol Pestilence. And then that is basically all we need to run, right? Pretty easy peasy. We've got Scorch on there, and that just gives us our heat. So that's another element for free. And then after that, we just invest into status chance, multi-shot, fire rate, and then this one also has punch through on there just so we can affect more enemies whenever we're holding down the trigger. And that is basically it. You can completely ignore eject magazine and secondary dexterity for now. You may not have come across eject magazine. If you have, great, but you probably won't have the Exilus thing that you want to throw on to your Nukor to make use of this slot, and you definitely don't have the secondary dexterity arcane because you haven't played Steel Path yet. So totally ignore that for now and just focus on, you know, the 8 mods that I've got on the main build of the Kuva Nukor. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using that build, holding down left click on the Kuva Nukor to build up 10 stacks of Viral. Now, you can only proc 10 stacks of Viral on a single enemy at any given time, so you can't go to 11 or 12 or whatever. And then we're going to be utilizing a slash build on our melee weapon, right? So this has got Condition Overload for that damage whenever we apply the status effects. We've got Blood Rush on here, which is going to give us more critical chance as we increase our combo. So combo duration is very important as well. I will talk about how you can go about keeping your combo duration up. We have primed smite mods. Now you can use the regular smite mods. These mods are a little bit misleading. It says it gives 55% bonus damage, but it's actually a multiplicative bonus. So it gives you a lot more damage than just 55% is basically the TLDR of it. We've got Prime Reach because we want to be hitting as many enemies as possible with our melee strikes. Oregon Shatter for more crit damage. Weeping Wounds because this is just going to allow us to proc more of those slash procs. The slash procs are going to be dealing a lot of damage here. Gladiator Might, this is just more crit damage and actually has a passive effect. So it's a 10% critical chance per combo multiplier. So increasing our critical chance. The more critical chance you have, the more damage you're dealing, TLDR. And then Berserker Fury, and this is just for attack speed. So if you've been running Eidolons a lot, you may have come across an arcane called Arcane Strike. And what Arcane Strike does is it just gives you more melee attack speed. If you have this, you do not need to run a melee attack speed mod on your melee weapon. You can take out the melee attack speed mod and throw something else on, right? So you could, if you really wanted to, you could run more combo duration. So if you remember, I asked you guys to farm up Drifting Contact, and this is just going to give you 10-second combo duration and 40% extra status chance, and that's going to help out with your slash procs and also keeping your combo up. So keeping your combo up is really important. If you're letting your combo fall down, you're going to be dealing a lot less damage with your melee weapon. Another mod you could potentially throw on is Body Count, which is 12-second combo duration. And that is basically it. So if you type in combo duration, there's a bunch of mods that you can use that will increase your combo duration. But the Drifting Contact mod and Body Count mod, and that is pretty much all I would recommend running, really. So yeah, just use either of those two mods, and then that would be the build that you want to go for. The other way you can go about keeping your combo really high is using these arcanes, which we get from Steel Path, which are equipped to your secondary and primary weapon, right? So we have 7.5 second combo duration at max rank. So whenever you max out an arcane, they sometimes have bonus effects. So the ones that you equip to your Warframe that you get from Eidolons, they will give you bonus revives if you have maxed out one. But then these primary and secondary ones, which you get from Steel Path from killing the Stalker-like enemies there, these are going to give you these different bonus effects. So 6% damage for 20 seconds stacks up to 6 times, 7.5 second combo duration, and plus 6% holster speed. Really nice, right? So yeah, all we've got to do now is jump in and kill our guys. So I'm just going to throw on Shatter and Impact here. Shatter and Impact is a really nice mod to throw into your melee builds as well, because if you're not stripping armor with the likes of a Warframe ability, which you can do, there are augment mods out there that exist for, like, let's say Banshee and Ash, where you can use their first ability to strip away an enemy's armor. Shatter and Impact is going to reduce their armor bit by bit as you're meleeing them, and you can actually use this mod versus Eidolons on a weapon like the Sarpa, for example, because it shoots out pellets, and because each of those pellets is kind of like an individual melee hit, you can strip away, well, deplete the armor of the Eidolon quite quickly. You don't want to completely strip away the armor of the Eidolon, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and spawn in some of these enemies here, and what we're going to be doing is just filling up those 10 viral procs. So you see we got the 10 viral procs, and then we're going to be meleeing, and you can see that the slash procs deal a ton of damage, but they only deal a ton of damage if we have you know, got those status effects on the enemies and we built up our combos. So bottom right hand corner, you can see that my combo is at a 12 times, and we just completely shred 3 enemies there. It is kind of insane. So there are different variations of that build which you can run. It's just that is kind of like, you know, what I would recommend that you run, just for, you know, sake of simplicity. You can swap out the Gladiator Might mod and the Shatter and Impact mod. These 2 slots right here are kind of like your flex slots. You can throw whatever in. But this here is the main sort of crux of the build. These Prime Smite mods you can only get from Borrow. So that's the Void Trader that comes around every single Friday. You can, like I said, again, substitute in the regular version, and that is totally fine. But yeah, as long as you have something similar to this, you know, you're going to be doing just fine. It's a really insane build. So what I want you guys to do for the next episode is rank up the Master Rank 10, of course, and pick up the Lanka from the Energy Lab in your clan's dojo. And also, if you haven't already, make the Sarpa. The Sarpa is this here Gunblade, and we're basically just going to be using this to deplete the Eidolon's armor, because we're going to be talking about the extra 2 Eidolons in the next video and how we can take them on, and then basically like get a lot more focus from our Eidolon hunts. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this episode. If you liked it, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.